You are not here by chance, and this moment is not random. Even the way your attention rests on these words has weight. There is a quiet process unfolding beyond your immediate awareness, not dramatic, not loud, but precise and intentional. It has been unfolding for some time now, long before you noticed the stillness in your life, long before the pauses that felt unanswered. Something has been observing how you move through silence, how you remain when nothing seems to be happening, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. There is a reason the noise around you softened, a reason distractions fell away one by one. This was not loss. This was space being created. Not empty space, but sacred room for alignment. You were not being delayed. You were being readied. Each quiet stretch, each unanswered question, each moment where you felt unseen was actually a moment of careful attention, as if something unseen leaned closer, not to judge, but to understand your steadiness. What is happening now does not rush you. It does not chase you. It waits, patiently, because it responds only to inner stability. There is no pressure here, no demand, only a gentle witnessing. Your consistency in stillness matters more than any outward action ever could. This is why nothing forced itself into your life prematurely. This is why doors did not open before you were balanced enough to walk through them without losing yourself. Stay till the end of this moment, not out of fear, but out of presence. Because what is unfolding responds to attention, not urgency. When you remain present without grasping, something aligns naturally. This is how trust is recognized. This is how readiness is felt without being announced. You may have sensed this watching before, not as eyes, not as scrutiny, but as a subtle awareness that your inner world was being quietly acknowledged. Not every soul is given this kind of attention. It is reserved for those who can carry meaning without needing to display it. Those who do not collapse when nothing moves. Those who remain whole even when outcomes are withheld. The stillness you experienced was never emptiness. It was preparation disguised as waiting. Each moment of restraint, each time you chose calm over reaction, you were signaling alignment. You were showing that when movement finally arrives, it will not unsteady you. It will meet you where you already stand grounded. Do not skip this moment, because skipping has never been about missing information. It has always been about turning away from presence. And presence is the only thing that allows the unseen process to complete itself. When you stay, without resistance, without impatience, something settles into place naturally, like ink drying where it was meant to rest. There is no threat here. Nothing disappears in anger. Nothing is taken away. What fades only does so when attention is withdrawn, when alignment is abandoned, when inner steadiness gives way to distraction. What remains grows quietly when you stay centered, when you trust the silence, when you do not demand proof before readiness. You were never meant to chase what is coming. It approaches only when it recognizes familiarity in your stillness. This is why the watching felt calm. This is why the waiting did not punish you. It shaped you. It refined the way you hold yourself when nothing is promised and everything is possible. Now, the process reaches its natural conclusion. Not with noise, not with announcement, but with a deep sense of inner readiness. The watching softens into trust. The waiting settles into alignment. The preparation completes its cycle and releases you forward without force. You stand steady now, not because something external changed, but because something internal finalized. The unseen work has finished what it came to do. Nothing more is required of you in this moment except to remain as you are, present, grounded, and quietly certain that what aligns with you will move toward you naturally, without effort, without fear, and without resistance. Nothing needs to be added to you now. What was missing was never a flaw, only timing. You may feel a subtle shift in the way your breath settles, in the way your thoughts no longer rush ahead of you. This is how completion announces itself, quietly, without spectacle. When alignment arrives, it does not shake the ground. It steadies it. You are standing on firmer inner ground than you realize, and this stability is what was being waited for all along. There was a moment, perhaps many moments, when you questioned whether remaining still was a mistake. When movement around you made your own pause feel heavy. But stillness was never the absence of progress. It was progress occurring beneath the surface, away from noise, away from interference. What was being shaped could not be rushed without losing its integrity. So the silence protected it. The delay preserved it. And you, by remaining present, proved you could hold what is meant to come without needing to grasp. My beloved child, understand this gently. Being noticed does not mean being pressured. Being observed does not mean being judged. What has been watching recognizes your capacity for balance. It has seen how you carry yourself when answers are incomplete, how you do not unravel when certainty is withheld. This is why the process continued uninterrupted. This is why nothing interfered with your becoming. Stay till the end of this unfolding, not because something dramatic awaits, but because presence itself completes the circuit. When you stay, you signal trust. When you trust, alignment locks into place effortlessly. Nothing more needs to be proven. Nothing more needs to be earned. You are not late. You were never behind. You arrived precisely when inner readiness and outer timing could meet without conflict. The feeling of inevitability you may sense now is not imagination. It is recognition. Recognition that what has been quietly forming has reached coherence. Recognition that you no longer need to be monitored, because stability has been established. From here, movement will feel natural, not forced. Opportunities will approach without urgency. Decisions will feel clearer without explanation. This is how activation begins, not with a push, but with a release. The unseen no longer needs to watch closely, because you have learned how to remain aligned on your own. My beloved child, allow yourself to rest in this knowing. The process that once surrounded you has settled within you. What was written no longer needs rewriting. What was prepared no longer needs guarding. You are standing exactly where you need to be, calm, present, and ready, not for something overwhelming, but for something that fits you perfectly, arriving in its own quiet, certain way. There is a gentleness now in how things approach you. You may notice it in subtle ways, in how situations no longer feel confrontational, in how choices present themselves without inner conflict. This is not coincidence. It is the result of a long internal calibration finally settling into harmony. When readiness matures, life stops testing and begins cooperating. Nothing announces this shift. It simply begins to feel natural. To move again. You were never meant to strain toward what is unfolding. Strain would have fractured the balance that was being cultivated. Instead, you were asked to remain available, to stay open without reaching, to listen without demanding clarity. That posture was observed carefully, not to measure your worth, but to confirm your steadiness. And now, that confirmation is complete. There is no longer a need for constant watching, because what needed to be seen has already been understood. You have demonstrated the rare capacity to remain whole during quiet seasons. You did not abandon yourself when answers were slow. You did not force meaning where it had not yet formed. This restraint was not overlooked. It was honored. My beloved child, notice how calm replaces anticipation. This calm is not emptiness. It is alignment settling into the body, into the mind, into the way you perceive what comes next. You may feel less urgency to interpret signs, less pressure to decode every pause. That is because the phase of observation has given way to trust. And trust does not require constant attention. It rests. Do not skip this moment, because this is where integration occurs. not at the peak, not at the beginning, but here, where nothing dramatic is happening, and yet everything is complete. This is where preparation becomes part of who you are, rather than something you are waiting to finish. From this place, you will move differently. Not faster, but cleaner. Not louder, but clearer. The steps you take next will not feel like guesses. They will feel like recognition, as if you are remembering something rather than discovering it for the first time. That is how alignment reveals itself, through familiarity, not surprise. Nothing is being taken away from you. Nothing is at risk. What remains stable now remains so because you no longer depend on external confirmation to hold your center. The unseen process has done its work by teaching you how to remain present without fear, attentive without attachment, ready without tension. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are already positioned. The quiet confidence you carry now is the signal. And what responds to that signal does so effortlessly, in its own time, without urgency, without pressure, meeting you where you already stand steady and prepared. There is a quiet confidence forming beneath your awareness now, not something you need to protect or explain. It grows on its own, like a deep, rooted tree that no longer fears the wind. You may notice that reactions soften, that old doubts no longer pull at you with the same force. This is not because questions disappeared, but because you learned how to stand without needing every answer immediately. That lesson was the final refinement. What unfolds from here does not arrive as a sudden turn. It arrives as continuity, as if life simply resumes its natural rhythm, now synchronized with your inner steadiness. This is how readiness reveals itself, not through intensity, but through ease. When alignment is complete, effort dissolves. You do not push forward, you are carried forward by coherence. My beloved child, understand this with calm clarity. The unseen attention that once surrounded you was never meant to linger indefinitely. It existed to ensure balance, not dependence. Now that balance has been established, trust replaces observation. And trust gives space. Space allows movement without resistance. Stay till the end of this inner settling, because it marks the moment where preparation becomes embodied wisdom. You are no longer practicing patience, you are patience. You are no longer learning stability, you are stable. From this place, nothing needs to be proven. What aligns with you recognizes you instantly, without hesitation. You may feel a sense of quiet inevitability, not excitement, not anticipation, but a grounded knowing that whatever comes next will meet you at your level. This is not expectation. It is readiness without attachment. It is the calm certainty that you will respond well, regardless of form. The unseen process that once felt distant has completed its work within you. There is nothing more being written, adjusted, or evaluated. What mattered has already settled into place. You are standing in alignment, not waiting, not watching, simply present and prepared. And from this still confidence, life will continue to unfold naturally, meeting you with the same steadiness you have learned to carry within yourself. What settles now is subtle, almost easy to miss, yet it is the clearest sign that the inner cycle has completed. You may notice that you are no longer scanning the horizon for confirmation. The urge to check, to measure, to anticipate has softened. This is not indifference. It is trust taking its rightful place. When trust arrives, it does not announce itself. It simply removes the need to look ahead. There is a difference between waiting and being available. Waiting leans forward. Availability stands open. You have moved into availability without effort, and this is why what aligns with you will not need to be chased or questioned. It will recognize the calm you carry and meet it without friction. This is how alignment behaves when it is real. My beloved child, notice how silence now feels companionable rather than heavy. The same stillness that once tested you now supports you. It has shifted roles. It no longer asks anything of you. It simply remains, steady and reliable, a reminder that you can exist without strain and still be fully prepared. Do not skip this moment, because this is where the final integration completes itself. Not in movement, not in change, but in the recognition that you are already enough for what is coming. Nothing else needs to be added. Nothing needs to be removed. The calibration is complete. From this state, responses arise cleanly. Decisions feel lighter. Even uncertainty loses its sharpness, because you trust your capacity to meet it. This is the readiness that cannot be taught quickly and cannot be forced. It emerges only after stillness has done its quiet work. What once watched now rests. What once waited now aligns. What once prepared now releases. There is no further instruction, no next test, no hidden condition. The unseen process has reached its natural end, leaving you grounded, present, and quietly confident, standing in a calm certainty that whatever unfolds next will arrive in harmony with who you have already become. What remains now is not anticipation, but ease. The kind of ease that does not come from certainty about outcomes, but from certainty about yourself. You have crossed a threshold so quietly that even you may not have noticed it. Yet its effect is unmistakable. You are no longer bracing for what might happen. You are simply present for what does. The rhythm of your inner world has slowed into coherence. Thoughts pass without demanding response. Emotions rise without needing justification. This is not numbness. It is regulation. It is the sign that inner balance has stabilized enough to hold whatever approaches without distortion. Nothing overwhelms a steady vessel. There was a time when movement was withheld so you could learn this exact state. Not control, not vigilance, but calm readiness. The kind that does not tighten when uncertainty appears. The kind that allows life to come close without defense. This is why the process unfolded gradually. Sudden activation would have disrupted what needed to mature. Stay till the end of this settling, because this is where embodiment completes itself. You are no longer carrying preparation as a phase. It has integrated into how you exist. Your presence alone now does what effort once tried to accomplish. This is alignment functioning quietly, efficiently, without display. Notice how the sense of being evaluated has dissolved into a sense of being trusted. That shift is not imagined. It is earned through consistency in stillness, through remaining intact when nothing reassured you, through choosing steadiness without reward. These qualities do not need to be revisited. They have already been recognized. From here, life will not feel like a series of tests. It will feel like a conversation that finally found the right pace. You will respond when needed. You will pause when needed. And neither will feel like failure. This is what readiness looks like when it is real. The unseen work that once surrounded you has now completed its cycle. It does not linger. It does not interfere. It leaves you with something far more valuable than answers: self-trust grounded in experience. You stand now without tension, without expectation, quietly aligned, knowing that whatever arrives next will meet you in balance, not demand. There is a softness now in how you meet each moment, as if the sharp edges of anticipation have gently worn smooth. This softness is not weakness. It is refinement. It is what remains when vigilance is no longer necessary. You are no longer preparing for impact. You are available for connection. This is the state that could only emerge after everything unsettled had been allowed to settle on its own. You may sense that life no longer presses against you in the same way. Situations arrive without tension, and when they pass, they leave no residue behind. This is the mark of internal completion. When something is unresolved, it clings. When it is integrated, it flows through and moves on. You are experiencing flow not because circumstances are perfect, but because resistance has released its hold. My beloved child, understand this quietly. What once required attention now requires only presence. You are not being guided step by step anymore, because you have learned how to listen inwardly without instruction. This autonomy was always the destination. The watching existed to support it, not to replace it. Now that autonomy has stabilized, interference is no longer needed. Do not skip this moment of recognition, because it seals the transition. Recognition is not praise. It is awareness. Awareness that you are no longer dependent on external signals to remain aligned. Awareness that you can stand in uncertainty without shrinking or reaching. This is the confidence that does not announce itself, yet shapes everything that follows. From this place, movement will feel responsive rather than reactive. You will notice that you choose with clarity, not haste. That you pause without fear of missing out. This is not hesitation. It is discernment functioning naturally. And discernment is one of the quietest signs that readiness has matured fully. Nothing is waiting to surprise you. Nothing is hiding to test you. What comes next will feel appropriate, proportionate, and timely, because it will meet you where you are now, not where you once were. The unseen process has finished its work by returning authority to you. You stand here complete in this phase, steady in your center, unburdened by urgency, grounded in trust. There is nothing left to resolve in this cycle. Only the calm certainty that whatever unfolds from here will do so in cooperation with the balance you now carry effortlessly within yourself. A quiet spaciousness opens now, not around you, but within you. It feels like permission to be exactly where you are without adjustment. This spaciousness is not the absence of intention, it is intention no longer strained by effort. You have reached a point where inner alignment holds itself. Nothing needs constant correction anymore. Balance maintains its own posture. You may notice that the need to narrate your progress has faded. You do not need to analyze it anymore. You do not need to carry it anymore. You do not need to go back to make sense of what has already ended. Your soul is facing forward now, and before you is a horizon golden with promise. Walk gently into it, guided by intuition, protected by light, supported by love. And when doubt whispers, remember this: you are not walking alone. I walk beside you. I stand before you. I guard behind you. I surround you. Nothing meant for your peace will ever be taken from you, and nothing taken from you will ever erase your purpose. Your life remains blessed. Your path remains guided. Your heart remains worthy. Rest in this grace. Let every breath soften you. Let every day unfold without rushing, without forcing, without fear, because the timing of your life is sacred. And your breakthrough, your healing, your love are no longer distant shadows. They are near, closer than you realize, closer than your doubt, closer than your worry, already forming, already aligning, already moving toward you with gentle certainty. And so, I leave you now wrapped in holy calm with this soft blessing. May peace surround your steps. May love cradle your heart. May hope anchor your spirit. May life meet you kindly from this day forward. And may you always remember, the delay was divine. Your soul is safe. Your future is blessed. And every good thing meant for you is already on its way, guided by light, carried by grace, and welcomed by the beautiful heart you have grown into. They had to be lived into existence through stillness, through waiting that did not harden you. Stay till the end of this settling, because what completes here is subtle yet permanent. You are no longer oriented toward proof. You are oriented toward coherence. When something fits, you feel it immediately. When it does not, you release it without explanation. This is discernment functioning without effort. The sense of being guided has transformed into a sense of being accompanied by your own clarity. You do not need constant reassurance because you recognize the signal of alignment internally. It feels calm. It feels proportionate. It feels steady. Anything that arrives with pressure will feel foreign now, and you will not need to resist it. You will simply not move toward it. This is not the end of movement. It is the end of unnecessary movement. From here, each step arises from readiness rather than reaction. The unseen process has completed its purpose by making itself obsolete. There is nothing left to watch, nothing left to prepare, nothing left to finalize. You remain where you are, grounded and present, not holding on to the past phase, not reaching for the next one. The cycle has closed cleanly. What opens from here will do so naturally, meeting you in the same quiet certainty you now inhabit, steady, aligned, and fully prepared to continue without strain.